Great news. I just got this amazing book. It's about Professor J.T. Clark and from Judith Lukas, who is his granddaughter. I chatted about Professor Clark a couple of months ago on another talk about South African tattoo history, and this book is exactly all about that. It's called Tattooing to Perfection and is available on her website, which is obviously www.tattooingtoperfection.com. The amazing thing about Professor Clark is that he literally had a shop here in South Africa. He had a few, Durban, Pretoria and in Johannesburg, but most notably the Johannesburg shop. A very interesting man. He was born in the UK, and at about the age of 13, his older brother and his father and himself emigrated to Galveston, Texas. He grew up there and at an early age fought in the Spanish-American War and then became involved in shipping horses to South Africa for the British in the First Boer War. He decided to stay in South Africa for a while, and him and his wife, Princess Beatrice, literally moved around, obviously had the shops. I think the earliest shop was 1906. And they finished up and left South Africa in 1914, I believe. The shops in Durban and Pretoria are not really mentioned that much, but what is mentioned a lot is the Rissik Street shop, which was literally in the hub of Johannesburg, unlike later years when tattooing kind of went into like the sort of dodgy parts of town. But it was literally in this humdrum of stuff happening. George Burchett was asked to come and tattoo in South Africa by some clients, and when he did here, he was just up the road from Professor Clark's studio, and they became close friends. And he tattooed J.T. Clark quite a bit. I think most of his work was done by George Burchett. He even did a portrait of Paul Kruger on JT's head, and that is quite an amazing thing. I mean, he was British to begin with, and Paul Kruger stood for the Boers. He was the Boer or the Afrikaner president at the time, but he actually was quite a large figure. For those of you who don't know who Paul Kruger is, he was very interesting in the way that, like, he did a lot of things a little bit differently. Some of the stuff that you'll see is like he designed for areas of the body, which is quite interesting, because if you look at a lot of other stuff from that period, you don't see that kind of thing. They're just images, really, whereas he planned like stuff around the neck and how it would sit on somebody's arm and stuff like that. So he was really already starting to think that way, which is a very what we do today, really, is planning to suit a body part. Him and Beatrice left South Africa in 1914. I think there was some tension and they weren't really happy in the country. And George Burchett also eventually closed that studio and moved on as well. They went back to Galveston, and then they moved up towards Montreal and worked in all sorts of circuses. J.T. Clark was like in the Ringley Brothers circus. I know Princess Beatrice also exhibited herself in some of the other circuses of the time. And he died quite young, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was like in his late 40s when he died. So he was quite a young man when he passed away. Princess Beatrice lived on quite a while and left Judith, Judith's dad, who was born in Johannesburg, by the way, which is amazing. I mean, he was born here, and left them a big travel trunk. And Judith never really got into that travel trunk up until a couple of years ago, when she opened it up and found this treasure trove of information. And for us South Africans, this is really big, because being so far away and feeling quite removed from Europe and America and Asia, we feel that we're kind of at the butt end of this industry, and that we don't really have a foothold in this industry. And this book proves that we do. We have a very strong history in tattooing, It's not just fly by night. It's not these little things that kind of grew up in the slums and stuff like that. It had been around. The gold rush, the miners, the military men, all of these people were getting tattooed through the Boer War, through all of these episodes in our history, and that's important to us, especially as South African tattoo artists. So as I said, the book is available through her. I also know that I put her and Johan from Tattoo Inc. in contact, and they were talking about bringing in a shipment of books that he would sell on. The reason being that the shipping price was actually quite expensive per book. So they're trying to reduce the cost to you in South Africa, that you may buy this book without paying an exorbitant shipping cost. However, if they've not managed to put that together, it's worth every penny. It's worth the shipping, it's worth the cost of the book. It is an amazing book. Go out and get it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe. Subscribing helps us build the channel. Please follow us also on Instagram. The handle is @Cape Town Tattoo, or one word, or lowercase.